I want us to quickly understand the role of bile in digestion, what bile does. But before I say anything, I want to say something very important. I want us to know that the digestion of fats and oil, lipids, begins in the small intestine. Why? Because that is where you will find lipase enzymes. Remember, the lipase enzymes work on the substrates that we call lipids. I mean fats and oil. So lipase enzymes will act on lipids, which we call fat and oil, to break fat and oil into products that we call fatty acids and glycerol. So the product of the digestion of lipids are fatty acids and glycerol. Multiple choice. Take note of this multiple choice answer. So let's look at bile and lipase enzyme. Bile and lipase enzyme. Recall that bile is produced in the liver. 1. 2. It is stored in the gallbladder. Bile is not an enzyme, to be clear. I don't want anybody to be confused. Bile is not an enzyme, but it helps to break down large globules of fats into tiny droplets. Substances that can do this, we call them emulsifiers. So bile is an emulsifier. So it enables the emulsification of fat. What I mean is, bile will increase the surface area of what? Fat. Bile will increase the surface area. Shred it down, increase the surface area to make it very easy for lipase enzymes to digest the fats into fatty acids and glycerol more quickly. So what does bile do? Bile emulsifies fat. And the process is called emulsification. What do we mean by emulsification? The breakdown of large molecule into tiny droplets so that the surface area is increased to enable the enzyme act on it more quickly. When the lipase enzyme acts on these fats, they break these lipids to fatty acids and glycerol. One function of bile. So the second thing bile does is to provide the alkaline condition. Remember, bile is alkaline. So bile neutralizes the hydrochloric acid that will want to find its way into the small intestine, providing an alkaline medium and returning the small intestine to neutral so that it can work optimally. Remember, when an acid reacts with an alkaline, the product is what? Salt and water. And when salt and water is produced, we don't feel any effect, like the acid churning the stomach, the small intestine, and making it hard for you to feel comfortable. 2 things I've said so far. 1, that bile is an emulsifier. By emulsification, I mean bile helps to break down. It breaks down these large molecules of fat into tinier ones, increases the surface area so that lipase enzymes can work. 2, bile is alkaline and therefore will neutralize the acid that is coming from the stomach into the small intestine and bring the pH of the small intestine to neutral so that conditions can be optimum for the enzymes to work. It is very important that we take note of the role of bile in digestion. 2 things for you to note. 1, bile is not an enzyme and so does not digest food. What does it do? It increases the surface area of the fat so that lipase enzymes can work effectively. 2, digestion of lipids. Digestion of fat and oil happens in the small intestine because that is where you find the enzyme lipase. Take note of this so that we're not confused. Until I see you again, keep learning.